and welcome to our classroom. Is this our classroom? I see the memes over there. And I see our 212 is happiness over there. We are in our classroom. Welcome back for today's shared reading lesson on Perry Opens the Door to Japan. (1853). 4 black ships commanded by American Commodore Matthew Perry steamed into Tokyo Bay, Japan. Now, right away, we're introduced to Commodore Matthew Perry. Now, I know from the title, he is the one responsible for opening the door to Japan. So we need to get a little bit of information about him. What we do know is that he commanded these 4 black ships. Now, as someone who is a commander, I can assume that they are a leader of some sort. Now, if they are a leader of ships, you can assume they are part of the military. Which branch? We can now then go ahead and realize that he is in charge of these ships as a Navy officer. Now, where are they going? They steamed into Tokyo Bay. Now, what I know about steaming into something, that's usually regarding to its speed, okay? So they arrived quickly, which is awesome because it's at this time where ships were now being powered by coal. The Japanese had never seen ships powered by steam, and they described the ships as giant dragons puffing smoke. Now, as a reader, when I see a comparison of a ship to a giant dragon, that shows me that the Japanese were a bit scared of these ships. Dragons are usually very dangerous creatures. So when all 4 of these came into the bay, you can assume the Japanese were a bit scared because they'd never seen anything like this. It was, in fact, a historic moment. It was part of history. Under the Tokugawa shogunate, a family of military leaders, Japan had allowed almost no foreign visitors for over 200 years. So if you can think about that, for 200 years straight, no person from another country ever stepped foot into Japan. So as a reader, that tells me that they were isolated. And if you're unsure about isolated, that means they're by themselves. By the mid-1800s, many Western nations were looking to Japan as a potential trading partner. That means other countries wanted to use Japan to trade items and goods. They wanted to open the new markets for their goods, and they wanted raw materials to supply their rapidly growing industries. So Japan would give supplies as well as raw materials. Now, if you're not sure about raw materials, think of it as an ingredient used to make other items. Now, the United States, however, had its own reasons for wanting to establish contact with Japan. One reason was that the American merchant ships were sailing to China to trade with the Chinese. So we now know that Americans have been trading with the Chinese for a while. After California became part of the United States, so if you become a part of the United States, you officially are a state. Its ports on the Pacific Ocean became a convenient launching point for American ships sailing to Asia. So now it was a convenient launching point. I know convenient is a synonym for easy. So now it was easier to get from the United States to Asia. Now, on this trip, we have 2 more sentences left. The ships needed places to refuel and pick up supplies. Where we're going to stop? Commodore Perry had an idea. He said Japan seemed like a good stopping point. Both paragraphs 1 and 2 and highlighted the details that are significant in each paragraph. We're going to use those annotations to help us create a main idea statement for each individual paragraph. Let's start with paragraph 1. Now, what we know is that Matthew Perry was a naval officer. He and his ships arrived quickly into Japan. The Japanese felt scared as they arrived because they were isolated due to the fact that no one had visited Japan for over 200 years. So we're going to take that. I'm going to go ahead and move over to my post-it. And we're going to say Japan was shocked to see American ships enter their country. Now, we're going to do the same thing for the annotations for paragraph 2. So let's review paragraph 2. We said Japan was wanted as a potential trading partner for their goods and raw materials. The United States specifically wanted to stop there as they were traveling to China or other parts of Asia. So now that we know that they were looking for an easy stopping point, we're going to go ahead and create the main idea sentence right here. USA wanted to use Japan for trading and a stopping point while traveling in Asia. So now, as you can see, we went ahead and we used our annotations to help create main idea statements for both paragraphs.